Coming up, the year of coronavirus has reshaped our economy, probably no more so than in travel and tourism. In this episode, I take a closer look at Ipswich tourism. More specifically, tourism visitor numbers. Is it possible for Ipswich to double its number of visitors to the city in 5 years? It's Sunday, December 20, 2020, and I'm Alan Roebuck. Welcome to Ipswich Today, which acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which it is produced and pays respects to elders past, present and emerging. This podcast is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. Over recent weeks, I've been taking a closer look at claims by Ipswich City Council that by 2019, the city had more than 2 million visitors annually, up from just over 1 million in 2014, and how these numbers might or might not translate to an increase in customers for local tourism businesses. The word from some operators across the city who rely on overnight stays or day visitors does not clearly support Council's claim, and this is before COVID. At the height of the pandemic, occupancy was as low as 10% or nil if the business was closed, and that's Council's own data. Information released annually by Ipswich City Council boasts tourism has never been better, so you could be forgiven for thinking businesses relying on tourists are also booming. The reality appears not to be the case. From Council's own destination management plan, only 25% of visitors make up overnight stays. But even this number is difficult to verify. Apart from a couple of big events in a normal year, hotel and motel occupancy is far from where it should be. If further proof is needed, why was the former Metro Hotel in South Street sold in 2019? Its low occupancy rate could not be sustained. It's now an aged care facility. Council quotes data from Tourism Research Australia, an arm of the Australian Government's Trade and Investment Commission known as Austrade. I asked Austrade a few questions about the Ipswich survey data, and here's part of what they told me. The annual survey size for visitors, which could be anything from people staying with friends for the day to Airbnb or hotels, is very small. The survey size of domestic overnight visitors was fewer than 150 people per calendar year from 2015 to 2019. Tourism Research Australia puts a condition on its own data by saying it only publishes by council areas as a rolling 4-year average because an individual year's data error rate is too high for most practical purposes. So the question is, has Ipswich City Council been selectively publishing tourism data annually to make itself look good? Your point of view probably depends on where you sit in the tourism ecosystem. Council is keen to promote a number which also includes day visitors to Ipswich, but it's difficult to determine details for paid overnight accommodation or others such as Airbnb. I also put a series of questions to Council about the use of Tourism Research Australia data. Rather than clarify the situation, the responses only serve to muddy the waters by claiming the same data is used in other centres, including capital cities. With this, we must assume different people surveyed and different sample sizes in those markets. A council spokesman said Tourism Research Australia data is one set council uses to judge the health of the sector. Council also said it looks at Brisbane Airport flight arrivals data. However, I'm not sure what relevance this is to Ipswich and how that relates to determining visitor numbers to the city. Is someone standing at the airport exits asking arriving passengers if they're heading for Ipswich? Probably not. The concern I hear from tourism operators is that this data, based on a very small sample size specific to Ipswich, is being used by council to report to councillors and as a key performance indicator for staff and budgets allocated to supporting tourism in Ipswich. Councillors need to do more than take these visitor number reports on face value. They need to start asking hard questions. Did Ipswich visitor numbers really double from roughly 1 million to 2 million in 5 years? Perhaps rather than glossy brochures republishing Tourism and Events Queensland data, with very little key information specific to Ipswich, Council needs to take hold of its own destiny by commissioning its own research which can properly inform a future well-funded Destination Ipswich marketing campaign. To be fair, past councils have been shy about committing substantial advertising budgets to tourism. The last major campaign was about 20 years ago. You might remember it. Ipswich, it's a great place. It was simple and effective. On the plus side, Council runs a highly successful visitor information centre in Queen's Park, supported by very enthusiastic volunteers. The centre has rightly won multiple awards for its efforts. Successful partnerships with Google Tracker and TripAdvisor are also innovative and should be congratulated. But in order to take tourism to the next level in Ipswich, to attract overnight and day bookings, Council must have the courage to commit seriously big bucks to market the city as an alternative to the sun and surf destinations, a place to do business and a great place to live. And why Council? Because no one else will in the foreseeable future. Ipswich Today is supported by Kinetics, people-powered web hosting trusted by Australian businesses since 1999. This podcast is also listener-supported. Please make a once-only gift or regular donation to help keep it online. Just go to ipswichtoday.com.au and click the donate button at the bottom of the page. You can subscribe for free and share this podcast from your favourite app, including iHeartRadio, or play Ipswich Today from your smart speaker. Music is supplied by Purple Planet Music. This is Alan Roebuck. Thanks for listening.